If you believe in urban legends, then you might be inclined to trust that they remain just that, eerie tales spun to entertain or terrify. But I learned the hard way that not all legends are mere fiction. Some come wrapped in darkness, and when you dare to reach in too far, you might just pull back nightmares instead of casual tales. My best friend, Tom, vanished that night, leaving me with nothing but the haunting echoes of his laughter, now forever intertwined with a gaping emptiness that will never be filled. It all started with a seemingly innocuous dare. A group of us had huddled together in the flickering glow of our phones' flashlights, trading ghost stories while laughter mingled with bravado. The warm crackle of the bonfire was a comforting backdrop, and cheap beer flowed freely, easing our minds into a comfortable space. It was during this ambience that someone casually brought up the tale of the vanishing hitchhiker. You know the one. The girl in white who you pick up on the roadside, only to find she's not there when you glance in the back seat. It's a classic horror story, perfect for a night filled with thrill and excitement. But as it turns out, that wasn't even the most terrifying tale among us. One friend suggested we take the dare up another notch. We should drive out to the old country road where the legend supposedly played out. The timing felt right. It was late autumn, and the air had that sharp, crisp bite, a fitting prelude to spending the night searching for something that was never meant to exist. I never thought it would come to this. We were young and invincible, wrapped in a shroud of youth and false bravado. Under the biting cold and amidst a sky punctuated by scattered stars, we piled into Tom's rusted Honda Civic. The car creaked in protest as we navigated the less-traveled roads, drawing farther away from streetlights and the false sense of security they provided. I couldn't shake the image of the trees that stood like ancient sentinels, their gnarled branches twisting against the sparse moonlight. It almost felt as if they were warning us to turn back, urging us to reconsider our impulsive decision. But we brushed off the hint of dread, laughing about how we'd outsmart a ghost. How foolish we were, blissfully unaware of the horrors that awaited our recklessness. As the Honda wound its way along the gravel lane, Tom entertained us with snippets of his own urban legend, unverified tales from his uncle who claimed to have seen her. The charm in Tom's voice, his unwavering conviction, seemed to chase away the encroaching chill of the night. If we see her, we'll just drive straight through, no stopping, just like the stories say. We all chuckled along, but I felt a creeping unease slithering into my bones. Perhaps it was intuition trying to warn me of what lay ahead. Yet as we arrived at the supposed site of the legend, a strange wind began to howl, whipping through the trees with an urgency that felt primal and unnatural. The temperature dropped sharply, sending shivers racing down my spine. We hurriedly set up a small speaker system, hoping that music might lighten up the eerie atmosphere that draped over us like a suffocating blanket. Each challenge dared one another to step out of the car, to call her name into the encroaching darkness. But as the seconds stretched into what felt like eternities, doubts swelled within me, knotting in my stomach. Then suddenly, the music stuttered and faded, leaving us engulfed in an unnatural silence. It was in that oppressive stillness that it happened. A faint outline caught my eye in the rearview mirror. A figure, draped in white, slowly gliding along the road behind us. My heart seized in my chest, pounding like a war drum. I wanted to scream, but an overwhelming shock silenced me, paralyzing my limbs as dread surged through me. "Tom, do you see?" I started to say, but he was already out of the car, propelled by the reckless bravado that thickly hung around us like fog. I didn't want to follow, fear tightening around my heart, yet something compelled me forward. As we approached the faded figure, a flicker of recognition broke through my fear, striking me with a terrifying reality. This wasn't just a legend anymore. She was horrifyingly real. "Hey, you okay?" Tom called out, his voice wavering unevenly as he took another hesitant step closer. The girl turned, and in that moment, the moonlight glanced off her face, revealing her eyes, hollow, desolate. She never spoke. Instead, she pointed towards the horizon, beyond the road where the trees grew thicker and more menacing. Something twisted inside me, a primal urge urging me to turn back. But Tom, fearless Tom, took another impulsive step toward her. "You need a ride?" he asked, and the boldness in his voice sent terror rippling through me. I reached out instinctively, trying to pull him back from the precipice of danger, but it was too late. In an instant, she was upon him, a blur of white fabric and ghostly presence, swiping at the air with a movement swift as thought. And then he was gone. One moment he was there, his laughter cascading over the cold air, and the next, he wasn't. A void enveloped him, swallowing him whole. A raw panic drilled deep into my spine as I swung back towards the car, my heart racing as desperate hands fumbled for the door handle. The laughter of our friends faded into the background, wishful memories dissolving into an echo of despair. The girl remained, the empty gaze locked onto me, and I couldn't bear to look any longer. I slammed the car door shut, the sound echoing in the silence. I frantically locked it, but who could save Tom from whatever darkness had claimed him? Breath quickened as I glanced around, praying he'd reappear, that this was all just a cruel prank orchestrated by a forgotten piece of our childhood. All around me, the band of skeptics who dared to challenge a legend had become frightened specters, caught helplessly in their own disbelief. "Tom," I shouted, though my voice came out more like a whisper, fraught with lingering worry. Silence answered back, a mocking lull that only deepened my fear. When I turned back to the road, the girl had vanished, leaving behind only whispering trees. I cannot accurately convey how long I sat in that unnatural silence, heart pounding furiously, chest heaving with the weight of my cowardice in the face of something I couldn't begin to comprehend. I knew I was supposed to do something, anything, to drive back and find Tom, but deep down, an unsettling clarity settled within me. We had stirred something best left untouched. That night, I drove home in a daze, my thoughts plagued by doubt and regret, as memories of Tom's disappearance clung to the corners of my mind like shadows. Every turn in town, I hoped against hope that he would miraculously walk back into my life, ready with another sarcastic quip and a glint of mischief in his eyes. But he never did. My friends fell silent, their bravado shattered under the weight of our loss, and I was left grappling with the whispers, ghostly murmurs surrounding urban legends that sometimes hold more than just shadows. Weeks collided into one another before the police arrived at my house, their presence dark and foreboding. They needed to question me about Tom, his habits, who he'd been with. I felt like the very legend had woven itself into my being, my thoughts now clouded with disbelief and anguish. I wanted to scream that he had vanished along that road, imploring them to look closer at the trees that seemed to watch with tired eyes. The last time I came into contact with his family was when they combed the neighborhood, posters of his face plastered over telephone poles, fading as quickly as hope itself. I offered to help, tried desperately to provide them with something, anything, but the darkness settled around me tighter than ever. Months passed, and eventually, as the trees transformed scarlet in the autumn, I noticed something peculiar. A new urban legend began to unfurl among the students, carefully stitched into the fabric of the community. It morphed the vanishing hitchhiker tale, now entwined with the story of Tom, the friend who once dared to tread that road, only to be swallowed by the hollow promise of the supernatural. If you've ever felt the sinister pull of the unknown wrap around you, like an echo inviting you to edge closer, whispering tales that become a part of your reality, perhaps this channel is meant for you. Some stories exist beyond the reach of reason, threads of memories that linger like shadows on the outskirts of our lives. The last time I dared to return to that ill-fated road, I couldn't even bring myself to step out of the vehicle. The trees swayed ominously, seeming to taunt me, while I heard the faintest sound, a soft, nostalgic call upon the wind, almost like Tom's familiar laughter. And even as I pen this down now, the weight of his absence still bears down on me, the gaping emptiness where he should still be, a reminder that some legends are woven from the very fabric of loss itself. If you're still here with me, perhaps you're like me, forever drawn to the brink of darkness. You might think you can handle the truth of those whispers. Just remember, some legends breathe life into grief. So, subscribe to The Dark Witness, but tread carefully. What you might discover could haunt you for the rest of your days.